Hello and welcome back to the Way to Native Chronicles. I want to do a little short video for you here on butchering a whitetail hind leg, because one of the mistakes you can make very easily when you're butchering is that you leave the gland. There's a large gland inside the leg that if you leave it in there and you cut through it and stuff and cook that, it's going to give a funny taste to the meat. And I'd like to show you how to get that gland out at where it's located and how to get it out of there. So the first thing we're going to do, there's a lot of ways people do this stuff, but you can see here is the outside part of the leg and here's the inside part. What I want to start off by doing is I want to take a cut right through here from the knee right across this bottom part. You can just use that for stew meat and stuff anyways, and hamburger. So we're going to just cut that off, and then we're going to get the gland out of this portion here. So and it's a little fiddly at first because finding that knee joint is kind of a bit of by guess and by golly, and when the animal's stiff you can't really even tell hardly where the knee is, but it is right around here. And the way you're going to do that is just going to make your best guess first and try to cut through as far as you can until you hit something solid. Doing this is going to dull your butcher knife, so you want to kind of give a few strokes on sharpening steel when you do the rest of your butchering after this. But I'm cutting through here. I can feel I'm hitting something, so I'm going to just break her a little bit. It's good to use lots of force if you can, and then bring the knife in and start feeling around for where it starts to go down. It can help if you take a stroke down here and just loosen this part here up a little bit on the other side too. It'll help you get bend that knee and show you where the joint is. Okay, so see, now all of a sudden I can bend that quite a bit. See that? So I'm going to try to find this knee here. Of course, when I do it on video, it's going to take a little longer, as always, right? But it can be done. See, now right there's something showing here. I'm going to cut down, try to loosen it up on the sides a little bit, and in fact I'll just kind of break it this way. Where is that knee? Yeah,
It's got
I think
strong
it's right around there. If you're not hitting it, you go ahead and backwards a bit. Find out where your knife is getting through. You want to cut through some of these tendons. There, see, now she's starting to come loose. Now I've cut through a few of the cartilage or whatever that is, and it's starting to show. There's the bone there. Okay. It's a little bit of fiddling to do this at first, but if you get that leg off like that, it's going to be a lot easier. In fact, I'll cut this right on through. Okay. Then I got a lot of wiggle on this joint. Okay, see? I can put some strain on it here and cut through here, and there she comes. So that part, that's going to be your stew meat there, and we're left now with this. This is a really fat deer. I'm going to cut this chunk off here, and now we're left with the leg. We've got the bottom of the bone here, got the top of the bone here, so we have an idea where the bone is running, right? It's goes a little bit forward too with a kneecap there. So the bone is running right along here, and we're going to have to open this up. So the way to open that up, actually, first I'll give her a little bit of sharpening after all that cutting against bone and stuff like that goes. Okay, just going to cut it a bit so that I can start pulling it apart. You want to use lots of pulling force just to get things apart here. Yeah, I can see here already. You can see that? I found a seam here, so I can go with my fingers and just rip this apart. Much better than using the knife itself when you can. You have that opportunity. Okay, let's get that part. Now we're going to start cutting down a little bit, and we're going to get the bone right out of this thing. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to cut along the bone. This is where you try to cut as much meat away from the bone as possible, depending on how skilled you are. But you just kind of stroke it. You see how when I stroke it, the bone just kind of exposes itself there, eh? Okay, so let's stroke this guy. And we'll get this guy free. Oh, yeah, we'll just flip this around here. What I like to do is get the top of the bone loose, and then I can start. You gotta be careful around here that you don't cut yourself when you're making this cut. Like I'm trying to get around. See, it's easy to cut myself there, okay? But I'm gonna cut this bone free, and once I do, it doesn't hurt to wrench on it a little bit. Okay, watch your fingers here. See, she's coming out nicely. Okay, gonna get that bone out of there. Lickety split. All right. Now when we get to that knuckle, then we're gonna have to kind of veer off target a little bit. Okay, you can see there's kind of the knuckle here. So I'm gonna go around that right to around here. Okay, come around here a bit. And let's take it right off here. There. So, yeah, it's a little bit of meat left on it. You can always scavenge that and if you want. But now we have the bone out of it, and the part where that, see, here's the leg the way it used to be. This big part here, that's where the gland is hidden. So maybe you can come around this side here. Okay, take a look here, maybe. Okay, so I'm just, now not too close maybe, but yeah, you can see I'm getting that seam right here, eh? I'm just pulling it apart with my fingers. There. Now that white strip there, that's your gland, and that's, you can start it from the top here, and it will come all the way down here. I could just take this part here, take that off right now. This is a nice, I think this is called the top round. Nice chunk of meat there. And now we'll be able to take this gland off real nice and easy. I'll rip it to the extent I can. Lots of tension on it. Yeah. My beautiful camera woman is helping me by holding down the meat. Okay. You getting some picture there, dear? Mm-hmm. She won't talk much because she's chewing snuff. Now, if you do cut into that gland, it's okay. You can wash your knife off and before continuing further. In fact, if you're not sure, go ahead and just kind of rinse your knife off after you're done this part here, so that if you've been cutting into the gland, that you're not transferring that to the rest of the meat. See here, I think this might be just fat here, but I'm being on the safe side. See, there's I think, oh, let's do this away. Well, I'll take this off too. I think this is just fat. This is a very fat deer. But you can see here is that gland. I've taken that out, and now we're ready to proceed to taking apart the rest of the muscle groups on this deer. So, was that clear? I hope so. Tried to make it as clear as possible. But yeah, get that gland out of there. It's one of the downsides to cutting round steaks, actually, is that if you cut through the leg this way, you're going to wind up cutting through that gland. So it is better to just open it up, get the gland out of there, and then butcher to your heart's content. Just take the muscle groups apart and you'll be done in no time. Like, it should only take 5 or 10 minutes to do each hind leg, even if you're not a pro. So I hope you get something out of this, folks. It's the Way to Native Chronicles with my wife Nakia doing the filming, and on this beautiful fall day. So if you have any questions, you just put them in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you go ahead and do that, because we try to focus on providing useful information to you, and there's just going to be more stuff to come, some of it from a unique indigenous angle as well. So from the Way to Native Chronicles, God bless, and I'll catch you next time. Okay. So hopefully that works. Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, dear. Did you like this video? If you did, I think you're gonna like this one right over here. So check it out. And I appreciate your subscribing if you haven't done so already. Remember to do that while you're watching this next video. Click like, it all helps us out for this channel. Catch you next time.